Hi everybody, this is Lillian and I'm here with Brenda.
Hi everyone.
She's a rock star, famous rock star in the PKU community for her website Cook for Love.
Thank you.
And I'm so psyched to be here with her for the National PKU Alliance Conference. So here we go.
I launched a free online culinary website that provides free recipes that has the fee analysis done for you. And it evolved out of a promise to my daughter when she was diagnosed, which was that she would understand the joy of food. And when I tried the things that were out there, I found myself sitting on my kitchen floor crying because there was nothing wrong with her taste buds. So I became obsessed in an unhealthy way, don't recommend it, about cooking. And I started reading all about food science and trying to understand what could be used in place of the ingredients that you couldn't have. And eventually it led me to culinary school. And, I certainly learned a lot there. And after developing some really nice recipes for her, I had to try to figure out a way to share them with the community because it would be weird not to. And the idea of traveling to various places just wasn't feasible. And I decided that I would launch a website, which if anyone who knows me thinks is hysterical because I really can't even operate an iPhone. But anyway, here we are almost 10 years later, and we have over 5,000 members on our Facebook page and over 7,000 members on our website.
Finding your website changed my life.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot. And coming to conferences like this, it's always so much fun because we are primarily internet based, and you don't really get to see the people. You hear from them and it's wonderful, but it's not the same. So when you're at something like this, it's pretty amazing. Sarah Chamberlain is from How Much Fee and PKU News, and we have recently merged. So we are in the process of creating a community-based website that will have recipes, and it will all go through How Much Fee's database, so it will ensure the accuracy of the fee content. So it's going to be pretty awesome.
That's wonderful.
And there are so many parents out there, and a special shout out to Amber Gibson, who is a rock star, an emerging rock star in our community, that are creating such incredible recipes, and they're getting lost on Facebook. And I don't think it was ever really my intention for this to be a one-woman show. And I think the idea that it's a platform for people to share what they've created, and people can find it, because on Facebook they'll post the recipe, and a week later it's good luck trying to locate it.
You have such a positive attitude, and you described like sitting on the floor crying when you realized how bland the food that your daughter could eat was.
Yes.
What was that factor of switching from being in that state to being this person you are now?
It's the thing is, when it's your kid, it's some way to kind of cope in some ways of dealing with a diagnosis you weren't anticipating. And as a mom, most of us are horrible product fixers, and we just can't let things go. And I was never going to let it go. The amount of failures I've had in the kitchen are a gazillion, and the amount of wine I've consumed in my kitchen are gallons. And I recommend everyone invest in the wine community because it will continue. But it's the recipes become, as you learn the tricks and you learn what works and doesn't, it becomes easier to adapt them most of the time. But there are those times when you still you think something's going to go smoothly and it explodes, and you're like, in there. And it is just trying to figure it out. I always think of the diet as kind of being like a Weight Watchers for protein on steroids, and it's balance, and it's not an exact science. And it was for me the first few years of my daughter's life, and I apologize, Molly. And it was, it had to be exact every day, but then you kind of came to realize you had to breathe. And I don't think I took enough breaths, and I wish I had done some things differently.
What advice would you give to new parents who are trying to figure out like what recipes their kids like, and the experimentation that goes on there? And
I would tell them, new parents, I would tell them, just breathe and try. The first year is the hardest because you're just dealing with so many different emotions, and you spend more time worrying than enjoying. And if I could turn back time, I certainly, I always said I wish I could fast forward and see my daughter at 5 and know that she was okay. so I could rewind and enjoy her and just let that piece go. But you can't. There's always that worry. But try to worry less, because there are so many success stories, and go on Cook for Love, go on the Facebook page and meet people in your community, and it will ease your mind. And as far as the food goes, try to stay a little bit ahead of the game. Like don't try to make the first birthday cake when it's 2 days before or the day before your kid's birthday, because the more it overwhelms you, the more you're going to try to avoid it. Dive in at 6 months and make a cake and just have it for a family occasion, so you know you can do it. It is one of the most empowering things, because you can't fix this, but you can make this one piece better. And when you make something that's a hit with your kid, there is no feeling like that. There is no high like that. I do a crazy woohoo dance in my kitchen when my daughter likes something I made. The reality is, as a parent, you'll do anything for your kid. And if you have to be up till 1 o'clock in the morning to make cupcakes because there was an unexpected birthday party at school and they collapsed right as they came out of the oven, you turn around and you just make the next batch. That's just what you do. And that's not being a superhero, that's just being a parent. And real life is, though, I know I neglected myself, right? You know, I'm cooking for my daughter, I'm cooking for other people, and I wasn't taking care of myself. So I look at it now as my daughter is going to she's going to be in school, then she's going to have a job, then maybe she'll have a family, all of those things down the road, to try to find a way for her to make it a priority, but not let it consume her life. So my new path is really going to be more towards making things simple, trying to quick fixes for dinner. And with her going to college, I'm certainly trying to figure that out. So I think you'll see me tame down a little bit. PKU is one of those things that if you don't address it, it will take over your life. If you find a place for it, the proper place for it, you get the life that you want. And then you can be a lunatic like me and let it consume your life, but that's a choice that I don't recommend. But you can. Like it has to find its place, and I think for each person where that is going to vary. But the community in general is just, they really rock.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
What has been the coolest or like most exciting or heartwarming thing that's happened from creating Cook for Love and this community?
I think it's just meeting people who you know, you're at these conferences and someone just comes up to you and they just hug you and they start to cry, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And it's just, I don't know, it's an amazing experience to think that, you know, again, I was just doing this out of love for my daughter, and it evolved into helping other people, which wasn't planned, but it was the way it should be. So I think just meeting actual members of the community where it's made a difference is pretty awesome. So definitely my favorite.
What would you say a healthy PKU diet looks like generally?
I think it's primarily fruits and vegetables. But there has to be something that adds the caloric piece. So, you know, if you have, you know, a smoothie for your breakfast with your metabolic drink in it, it's a great way to start your day. The So Delicious coconut yogurt, it's got some probiotics in it, and, you know, throw some fruit and maybe some low protein granola in there, and then it's a nice substantial thing. If you need the calories, you might need one of those mini muffins. But, you know, lunches are, you know, primarily salad based, but with a low protein wrap to kind of round it out, get the calories, make it feel a little bit more substantial. And I think throwing things like, you know, marinated mushrooms on your salads and cauliflower, even fried cauliflower on there, it just makes it a little bit more varied and a little bit more exciting. And then dinner, for us, we really try to make dinner pretty standard, that there's always 3 vegetables on our plate for everybody in the family. And then the entree is the only thing that's different, and we try to match it as best we can. But even doing, you know, if we're having chicken marsala, Molly's might be having cauliflower marsala. So it's the same sauces. And what I try to tell everybody is, if you boiled chicken, it would taste gross. If you just boil vegetables every day, it kind of tastes gross. It's the roasting, it's the grilling, it's the sautéing, and it's the sauces. The sauces are what makes them taste good and adds variety. Because if you ate the same even protein source every day, it would start to get really, really boring. So it's just changing the sauces for those things. And Cooks Illustrated, I wish I brought the book with me, has an amazing thing called Perfect Sauces. And it's got so many different ideas, not geared towards the low protein diet, but you can just look at them and get ideas and add them to your vegetables. So,
cool. Your sauces are specifically what changed my life. Because also you can have so much fun with spices with PKU.
Yes.
Those are unlimited.
Depends on your clinic.
Spices, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Spices actually contain a decent amount of fee. Like I remember when I made my vegetarian chili recipe, I was like, why is this so much higher than I thought? And there's a lot of spice in there, but spices do, because they're dried out. Yeah.
What's the best way to keep in touch with you?
The best way is probably through Facebook. We have a contact form on Cook for Love as well. I will tell you this, if you email me and I don't get back to you, it's because either A, I'm trying to think of the answer and then I forget all about it, or B, I just forgot all about it. Just email me again. I'm a scatterbrain, I'm not an organized person. But that's probably the best way. I don't do, and maybe that will change now that my kids are getting older, I don't do that many cooking demos. People in the area, I'm in New York, are always welcome to come to my house and cook with me. But we'll see if that changes.
Well, thank you so much, Brenda, for speaking with me.
Oh, thank you for interviewing me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I've been wanting to interview Brenda for like a couple years.
She's gonna have to come to my kitchen now and get a better one.
So where are you headed off to now?
I have to go back down to our table and clean up my big mess,
Okay.
and then head back to New York.
Excellent. Me too. I'm heading back to New York.
Right. Take care, everyone.